Hello, everyone, and welcome to Get Better, a show about two longtime friends trying their best, growing up, and hopefully getting better. I'm Zach Johnson.
And I'm Zach Johnson. Now let's jump into our first segment. I watch hockey, and so should you.
Oh, good.
We have had a banger of a week over at the Pred Hockey Corporation.
This basketball
I don't remember
thing.
the last score I gave you guys. I think it was we lost against the Lightning on the 13th, and then we beat them on the 15th. We beat the Panthers, lost to the Panthers, beat the Stars, and okay, so we beat the Panthers, right? We've got like you all know, we've had a very bad season, and we had our first after we lost to the Panthers on the 21st, started our first winning streak of what at the time. I'm sorry, I'm butchering this.
You're doing great.
Started our first winning streak. We had not won 3 games in a row at that point in the season. We went on to beat the Stars, beat the Red Wings twice, 7-1 in that second game. And then what we were all excited for, oh, you know what? I think that's what it was, is I left off at the Red Wings, and then the Blackhawk games were this weekend. So we beat the Blackhawks twice in a row, and then we beat the Stars again. So we had a grand total of 6 wins in a row, which is great.
Damn.
We're having a phenomenal time. Now, last night, we did lose against the Stars 4-1. It was not great. And we're playing the Blackhawks again tomorrow because the end of our season is very Blackhawks heavy. We have moved up the rankings.
What are the human stories, Sam? You know how to get me, brother. Got to give me the human stories.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
what's like, the man versus man versus nature,
Well, the man versus nature is us the man versus man is us sucking ass at hockey for 10 weeks and then somehow getting into fourth place. So if you're fourth place in your division, that's the last playoff spot. So you can get into the playoffs if you're fourth. And we are now in fourth. The Blackhawks are in fifth. We have climbed up the. Now we're also tied with them. So I don't really know how. Maybe because it's more wins. I don't know. We have 39 points. They have 39 points, and we both played 38 games. So I don't really know why we're above them, but we are.
Mm-hmm.
So now, granted, we have 39 points, right, in fourth place. The 3 teams above us have 51, 52, and 52 points. So we're pretty far away from that third spot. But yeah, we've had a really good week.
Well, as you were saying that, I had remembered that this is another part of the I Watch Sports and So Should You. Just some quick basketball things. So there is, as you know, I have been talking a great deal about the Brooklyn Nets.
Yes.
And the super team that was formed with our good friends Kyrie Irving as well as James Harden and Kevin Durant.
Twitter boy, yeah.
Yes, and so that super team has actually gotten way more super in the past few weeks, and I completely neglected to talk about it. So basically, so there is this thing. It's like there's like a trading deadline that happens in the middle of the season, and that's kind
ours
of
is coming up next week. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of where you can get some players that are getting into free agency, and there's like a trade deadline. It's this really intense thing, and so over the course of this thing, I don't really think that many people were expecting that much more of the Nets because they have this like already bona fide super team.
Sure.
And they went ahead and really did it to them and then brought out some more of these players. Are you familiar with Blake Griffin?
Of course.
Blake Griffin.
Wow.
Who played for the Clippers as a part of Lob City. Very famously for being very handsome, as well as an excellent basketball player and super big into dunks. He switched on over to the Detroit Pistons a couple of years ago and he's been playing for them, and he got injured, and so his number has been down recently. His stock has been very low, but that did not stop the Brooklyn Nets for getting Blake Griffin to join the team. And are you familiar with that one scene from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, where Willy Wonka kind of like he comes out and he's on like a cane and kind of hobbles around and then does like a little somersault and pops up.
God, what a performance. Yes, I do remember.
That has basically been Blake Griffin's transformation into the Brooklyn Nets, where like for the entire time he was with the Detroit Pistons, he was hurt, and I don't think he really wanted to be there.
Sure.
But so everyone's like, oh, he's hurt, that he's not going to be a really good player. And then he has come out of the gate just like absolutely crushing it. And it's like, oh, man. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, so he's doing great. And the other player is this one who I don't think a lot of people are very familiar with. His name is LaMarcus Aldridge. And he used to play for the Spurs during the Kawhi Leonard days and the Tim Duncan days. He is a really good player. I just looked him up. He has 7 NBA All-Stars. So
wow. Just
an excellent sort of guy. So they are like super rounding out this like incredible team. And a lot of people have compared them to the Avengers and LeBron being Thanos.
Stupid guys.
A lot of people do it.
Stupid. Watch different movies. Watch any. Oh, okay.
Okay, fine. It's
Harry Potter. Okay, whatever.
No, okay. It's the Brooklyn Nets are the boy from Call Me by Your Name, and the Lakers are the computer from Her.
Yeah, and Kevin Durant is Moonlight or something. Sure.
Yeah, and yeah. And
I thought you were gonna say the All-Star team, the Olympic team. You know, that Michael Jordan was on.
Oh, yeah, the Dream
Team. The Dream Team. I thought you were going to say, oh, they're like the Dream Team.
No.
You know, it's...
No, but, people on Twitter, you got to, everyone, you got to...
Well, there's 2 kinds of people. There's Harry Potter people, and there's Star Wars people, and there's Avengers people. And they just... they got that one property, and that's the thing that they want to talk about.
Yeah, well, I mean, like it's a pretty safe conversation point. I mean, who's out here talking about like, promising a young woman? Not me. We had an episode about Justice League just last week.
Yeah, but that movie was bad.
Yeah, well,
Justice League.
I get it. It's different when it's bad.
Yeah, we're hate watching. Look, I'm not saying we're better.
I'm not hate watching. I'm
hate watching it. Well, kind of. I like it because it's funny, but it's funny because it's bad.
Okay. But that's kind of the I Watch Sports and So Should You section. I thought it'd be interesting if we kind of took everyone into the way back machine and we brought back one of our old segments that used to be one of our old shows, which is Solve It. And
I don't remember the tune of the song.
So back in the day, Sam and I had a show called Solve It. It was amazing, and we would solve
way
puzzles.
Better than this show.
Yeah, we would solve puzzles and ciphers, and we would just talk about different ways to solve puzzles. And I may even talk about that one time where I'll talk about it right now. There was this cipher that I'd found. It was It was a cipher that was written like via a legend from a pirate. And the idea of the story goes is there was this pirate and his name was the Vulture. And oh man. Oh, well,
I remember the
everybody, welcome to Solve It.
Yeah, I remember the code language, but I don't remember this story.
Yeah, there was this puzzle that this guy, so there was this pirate called the Buzzard, and he like went around, doing pirate shit. And got a bunch of treasure, as is his tradition. And
the way of
he
his
was
people, yeah. The way of his people. And he was caught at one point, and things seemed kind of bleak because they were. And he was brought to the gallows. And I guess at the gallows in these days, once again, it's a legend, so you kind of have to take everything with a grain of salt. Sure.
I guess he got to do a little speech. And
say some cool lines.
Yeah, say some cool stuff. And in his speech, he took off a necklace and threw it into the crowd. And then he said something along the lines of, My treasure is his, whoever it can find it. And
Yarg.
Yar. Yar, Johnny Depp. And then
Johnny Depp shoots the rope or whatever. Anyway.
Yeah. And so they got away. No, he died, unfortunately, but he would have died anyway because of time. And so they found the necklace, and inside the neck there was a bottle or like a little canister, and then inside of that was a little cipher, a code, and it was this unsolved mystery for like a long time. And so basically what it kind of boils down to is like it wasn't solved for a long time. This dude found it, and he was this college professor, and he like spent his whole life trying to find this treasure, and he narrowed it down to this island that's off the coast of Africa. And he died never finding the treasure, but not before having a son who is in 2021 still looking for that treasure.
Oh, I vaguely remember this. What does the language look like?
I'll send you the code. Hold
Just
on.
full on solve it. Because
Exactly.
I think I solved all your puzzles.
You did solve it, Lebus. But
Lebus?
Lebus is his name. But I sent you like, so they solved.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't solve the mystery of the pirate. You took the language, wrote your own.
So
whatever.
they solved the initial cipher, which is a Pigpen cipher.
Code. Oh, because that's what's showing up is a bunch of Pigpen.
Yeah. So they solved the initial cipher, which was a Pigpen cipher, and then but it dips into like it's kind of like gibberish. So they had to then kind of like find its way from there.
I see. I'm seeing it now. Yeah, 6 hidden treasures that just. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So like now there is now they're trying to find these people are trying to find this treasure, and I'll see Oliver Lesieur. But people are still trying to find this treasure, as it so turns out. I need to find the name of the dude. He is this guy. I think his name is John Cruz Wilkins. He is this old man that lives like on this island, and he does not do like interviews or anything.
Really?
He is like very reclusive, and I think it's because he doesn't want people, blowing up his spot.
Because he really thinks the treasure's there.
I mean,
No,
why
wait a
not?
minute. Oh, sorry. I was never mind. There was a time jump after the pirate to the college professor. I was like, wait a minute, how old is it? How could this guy possibly? No, but there's a guy and there's a time jump. I forgot.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like the last story on him was on January 8th of this year. So it's like, I guess they're still talking about it. Yeah, John Cruz Wilkins. I still know this guy's name. That's so wild.
John Cruz.
Yeah, so his father's name was Reginald, and he's this dude that just lives on this island, and he is just looking for this treasure. The reason why they found it, the reason why they think it's here is because it is like they found some of the runes or some of the things that like resembled like some of the things that were on like the Pigpen cipher or whatever. So it could be nothing, but
Could
this
be a
guy,
different Pigpen cipher.
Yeah, it could be a different Pigpen cipher, but this dude seems to think that it's there, and he is really out here in these streets trying to find this treasure. And I think he's like the most fascinating dude because at a certain point it can't be about the treasure anymore. Like it has to be about like proving that your dad wasn't wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a treasure map, but mostly it's a letter to my father.
Yeah, and
That's the line, right?
Yeah. He's gonna say something along the lines of like the real treasure was that in the end I found out who my dad was.
Yeah, I feel like I'm connecting with him beyond the grave.
Yeah.
Wasting my life in the same way that he wasted his life.
And then P.S. I totally found the treasure. I'm rich as hell.
The treasure was. That's how you know he found. That's how you'll know he finds it when he stops looking and says, "It was the love between a father and a son." And it's like, "Oh, you found it, and now you're just lying."
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like no, he would say that. But it's like it's like, oh, this book is self-published. This guy started his own. Like this. this guy is like, using all of his money, but now he's sharing his story because it now can be a success story.
Right.
And once you find a pirate treasure, it's like the pirate treasure is great, but you can spin that into so much more wealth, Like you're the dude that found pirate treasure in like the now times. You're not going to be paying for shit anymore. Like you're going to be getting brand endorsement deals and whatever. Like you're going to have a travel channel show where that's all you do is talk about that one time that you found pirate treasure.
Yeah.
Like you're good.
Like
so I
what
think
else? What else do you need?
Let's see. Here we go. I'm going to look at this one thing. In 1949, those papers found their way into the hands of Reginald Cruz Wilkins, and a family obsession was born. Reginald's life came to be dominated by the search of Labouse's treasure, and while John says he's not obsessed, it seems his father clearly was. We went through terrible hardships because of this treasure hunt, says John. My father had two accounts, a work account and a personal account, and when the work account was going really low, he was always tempted to take from the personal account, and so my mother slapped him on the wrist because you have a family to feed. When Reginald died, John took up his work. Before he died, I wanted to get off of this island. I didn't want to do this, but afterward, when he was gone, looking through everything, I realized someone had to take it up, and it had to be me. Dang.
Guys, sometimes codes are to nothing. This is the thing that we find. Sometimes codes are to nothing.
Dude, this is like the wildest thing is like, this is an indie movie. Like this guy is writing his own ass into an indie movie.
Yeah.
Like this is safety not guaranteed.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Man, that is, dude, someone, I can't wait. That'll be our bag is when we, win the Sundance picture by making a movie about this guy.
Right.
The wildest thing. Anyway.
Or we find the treasure.
That's
how we get our bag.
And we're just like, bow right there. Take that, John. I'm sorry. Thanks for the work, dog.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, exactly.
So,
that's the worst part is that it's like,
we can fucking figure it out. We had
a
whole show.
Yeah.
We had a whole show.
We had a show where you fucking figured it out. But
we did 19 episodes.
But the
quality's not good.
Yeah, the worst part is like he definitely could find himself like someone could like totally nab it at the last second, a la National Treasure and
2,
National Treasure, Book of Secrets. And
then one? Feels like there's a third one.
There is not a third one.
They
but
need,
there
like, little
is
National Treasure.
There needs to be a third National Treasure because they set up a third National Treasure in National Treasure 2. That's really what I want. I don't want to search for this treasure. I want to search for the real treasure, which is National Treasure 3.
Yeah, maybe there's a secret screenplay that we need to go find for National Treasure 3.
Yeah, and it's on this island.
Oh my god!
And but anyway, back to what we were but back to what we were talking about. So in this show, we would solve little mysteries and stuff. Sam was very good at solving puzzles. I was very bad at it, but I was always very much more interested in like the weird like intricacies of the like odd stories. Like there was one where like it was during the Cold War times where someone found a book of ciphers in the backseat of their car, and then like 2 blocks away there was a guy who had been shot to death in his car, and the guy had like no identification on him. Or
no, it was the guy that washed up on the beach.
Oh right, no, yeah, that was it. You're right.
And
oh
they,
my
gosh,
gosh,
didn't know how he got murdered. And then there's the one where the guy's blinking Morse code in the internment camp. There's my personal favorite, which is the I don't remember the Beale cipher, where it's this whole story about hidden treasure, and the first cipher tells you that there is treasure, and the second one tells you what the treasure is, which is like all this gold. The first one tells you where it is, and the third one tells you who it belongs to. And the first and the third ones were never solved. And my personal theory is that the entire story is made up.
Yeah, maybe like with this treasure or this pirate treasure.
Right, because it just works too conveniently. If you read it, where it's like, it works too conveniently to be like an interesting narrative that they could only solve the one that tells you it's treasure and not the one that tells you where it is or the one that says who it's for. Anyway, I believe it was written by Edgar Allan Poe, who was known for
yes, that is true. I remember
doing these kinds of pranks. He was alive at the time. He did shit like this and was obsessed with puzzles. And like, there's just a lot of similarities between a lot of his short stories
Mm-hmm.
That
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
not the
it was.
macabre. Yeah, it was like
Yeah, because it wasn't something to do with like they would like they would send puzzles to like a thing and they would solve them or something like that.
Well, he wrote the Gold Bug, which is about like an unsolvable cryptogram or something, or an unsolvable puzzle. And then the Beale Cipher is written around a similar time. And the Beale Cipher is mostly a story about this guy, Edmund Beale, who finds this cipher. And again, the only thing he tells is really long, grand story about all these men from Virginia. And the only one that he can solve is the one he's like, oh, look, and I already solved it. It tells you there's a treasure, but we don't know where it is and we don't know who it belongs to, like who is supposed to get it. And so, yeah, of course, that is exactly enough information to get people trying to solve this cipher and hunt it down. My theory is that it's written by Poe, and I don't know if it's really written by Poe. My main,
who was just clowning.
Who was clowning? I think whoever wrote it was clowning, and the other ones are completely unsolvable. Like they just absolutely cannot be solved.
Mm-hmm. And that's because there is no answer.
Because
it's like one of those things where, like, that was one thing about like the puzzles is like. Puzzles are made to not be solved. So like,
yeah, that's the whole point.
Yeah, sometimes there's like you only know how to solve it because you are in possession of something or you have a piece of knowledge. And if that
you
piece
have
of
the key, you have the cipher key, like
yeah, exactly. And so if that never comes out, then that person dies with that knowledge, then like whoopsie doodles, like that cipher will never be solved.
Well, I think that's the main difference between codes and puzzles. Whereas puzzles are this fine line between difficulty and like logic, where like okay, this is hard to. You don't want it to be too easy that it's no fun, but you don't want it to be so hard that they never solve it, and you have to balance between those two.
Yeah,
whereas
a junior
code,
jumble. I said a junior jumble,
or like an escape room.
Oh right, yeah.
But a code, you don't want them to solve it.
Mm-hmm.
Like
there's not a cute answer at the end of it. The answer is like, oh, we're attacking these people at this time. Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing is like it's not like there's a logical progression through it. I mean, there's a way to logic out codes and ciphers, but it's not like step 1, step 2, and then you move the book on the bookcase. Like, no, it's just like completely jumbled letters, and if you don't have the key, you're not gonna figure it out, probably. Mm-hmm. So why do you bring this up to me?
I bring this up because, just when we thought we were out, she brings us right back in.
She always does.
She always does.
You mean, of course, the patron saint of this podcast, Taylor Swift.
Yeah, so it is a melding of our two interests. And
my only two interests.
Exactly. That and, like, I don't know, The National or something. So for those that do not know, Taylor Swift, patron saint of this podcast, friend of the show at this point, Taylor Swift, she released a cipher on her Instagram that Sam sent me earlier today, and I have not really gotten a chance to look at it, but that is because Sam said that he immediately solved it.
Yep.
Even though the expert level or the difficulty level was expert. So
to be fair,
like,
it was incredibly easy.
Well, let me look
you
at
describe in pure solve it fashion. You describe the puzzle, and then I will tell you how to solve it.
I will describe the puzzle. So it is a 30-second video, and it opens with there is a safe, and the safe opens, and it's EYBINFE. Oh my gosh! Oh, wait a minute.
Do you write all this down?
No, I did not. Maybe I should.
You should. There's a lot.
Interesting. It's a
lot of letters.
It is a lot of letters, it looks like. And I'm thinking that
I have it on a dock, but it's on my other computer.
Yeah, it truly does just look like because there was a lot of letters, and
they're flying past.
They're flying past, and the one that I noticed was I think it begin and end with the same thing?
It does. It does begin and end with EYB, I believe.
EYB. Yeah. So what I'm looking at here is just basically looking at some of these, just like some are flying past, like EYB, and like
I'll send it to you in the robot. I got it.
Like why, like whatever. It just seems like it's just, as I just said a moment ago, a junior jumble.
It is in fact a junior jumble.
Oh,
they are all anagrams. I can
okay.
send
So
you
and
here-
I didn't solve this until I saw the EM, which I was like, well, she has a song called Me, so maybe that's one of them.
Yeah.
The vault door is about to be unhinged as you'll think I'm after you watch this. Wait. The vault door is about to be as unhinged as you'll be after you watch this video. Level expert, happy decoding. Hell yeah. We did it. Oh, and she's and she has expertly turned the comments off.
Yeah. So it's a bunch of random letters. Well, it's not a bunch of random letters. They're all anagrams.
Oh wow, you really did have this.
This is not my notes app. I did do this in a notes app on my computer. This is from Twitter because I of course figured it out, but I was like, oh, let me get it pulled up. So it's the thing that makes it slightly more difficult. They're all anagrams. Some of them, once you decode all of it, though, the words are not in order. So if you just went through it, you would get the words by, fine, featuring, you, Marin, me, we, Keith. And it's like, okay, this is nonsense, obviously. So also the words are scrambled up.
In true junior jumble fashion.
And two, three that I think would
should have known this was your notes app because you sent me something that says Vodafone UK.
Yeah, that is someone on Twitter.
Vodafone. Interesting.
So two of them that would maybe mix you up are Maren Morris, who is a singer, but but of course if you try to use an anagram for EMNRA, you'll get the word namer. You won't get Marin because that's a proper noun and wouldn't be in an anagram. Scrambler. Morris and Keith are the same way. What this is a track list of songs that will be released from the vault. So,
interesting.
You All Over Me featuring Maren Morris, Mr. Perfectly Fine featuring Keith Urban, and then, even You All Over Me is a song we know. I guess people know the names of songs that are coming out.
I guess so. I'm assuming Keith has something to do with Keith. You literally just said it.
Keith Urban, featuring Keith Urban. The other ones I don't know. Maybe these are just logical titles, or people already know the names of songs that are coming out. But We Were Happy, That's When, Don't You, and Bye Bye Baby. So these are songs from the Fearless era that she never released, but she is releasing.
People must have known those. There must have been people like the hardcore Taylor ones.
Yeah, because I got as far as featuring Maren Morris, featuring Keith Urban, and what is it? What shit? I already forgot. You All Over Me, because that song has already come out. So You All Over Me featuring Maren Morris is a song that has come out. So I was like, okay, I know that's the combination of words, and I know that featuring Keith Urban is also one of them. But as far as but the rest of them, I just had to look it up because I was like, well, I mean, any of these could combine to be song titles.
No, that's true. It's like you solved the puzzle. However, it's like because you didn't know the names of songs, it's like, well, I could I could feasibly throw these together in any sort of word soup and make anything.
Well, and the part that I enjoyed was over. It was like, okay, I got it. I figured out the puzzle. I know what this is. Oh, and the audio on the video is her singing backwards. It's pretty obvious when you. And that's kind of the main giveaway that it's not like a replacement cipher, that it's just an anagram, because it's her singing backwards. And when you see stuff like EW and EM, it's like, oh, and actually, and it's like, oh, that's just me and we. It's like backwards, and she's singing backwards. And the first one is EYB, which is by backwards.
Oh.
So the assumption
that's the kind of thing. Maybe we should have sent Solve It on over to Taylor, and then maybe she would have really enjoyed it because, we should have known how much she is just into ciphers.
Well, she is. I mean, it's like a thing. She does it all the time.
Exactly. I know, but I feel like...
a Caesar cipher would have been way better. For your nice... Well, yeah, if she had done a Caesar cipher, so it's like, oh, it's your 9th album, so do a
Oh
Caesar
yeah,
cipher
yeah,
with the
yeah.
number
Oh
9.
man, dude, that would have been.
That
I
would've
feel like
way
that would have been difficulty level expert.
Or it's her second album because she's re-releasing Fearless. They'll be like, oh, it's a 2 Caesar cipher. Just shift it 2 places.
Yeah. So what Sam's talking about here is there's a thing called the Caesar cipher where
I don't remember why it's called that.
Huh?
I don't remember why it's called a Caesar cipher.
Nor do I. But you basically shift everything over by a number that is pre-decided. So, like
so
if
A would become B, if it's a Caesar cipher of 1, or a Caesar cipher of 2, A becomes C, and
so everything switches 2 places. So so Sam is suggesting there is that if it's from her second album, everything would be shifted over 2 places. So it looks like absolute gibberish, but if you just either minus or subtract based on like where you are in the alphabet, like 2 places based on her second album, then it becomes a word. But when you first look at it without knowing it's a Caesar cipher, it just looks kind of like nothingness. But it's like one of the I guess one of the intro level ciphers. It was one of the first ones we ever did.
Yeah. It's pretty easy. Well, because it's one that you can kind of spot because
if you if I found that when you sometimes you'll see repeats if there's double vowels or whatever.
That's the first thing. If you're trying to solve a cipher, that is the first thing, is to look and see if there are like the same word combinations. Yeah, double letters will definitely help, but then also it's like if the word you is shifted however many numbers, if they use the word you later on in the cipher, it would be the same letter combination, whatever that would be. It'd be shifted the same way. So if you look at the cipher and you see like combinations of letters, it's like, oh, okay, this is probably a shift of some kind, whether it's a Caesar cipher or the one that goes forward and backwards, the Jewish one. There's a Jewish code that's in the Bible as well, not the Bible code. That's a different thing. It escapes me. It's like it starts with an A. Anyway, that one where it's like A is equal to Z.
Right, and everything's backwards.
Y. Yeah, that's that one. Anyway, if it's that one, you can see if it's just a shift, you can kind of see it visually. But then also, if it's a simple replacement and not I don't know what it's called, but a replacement that changes over time. If it's just a simple these letters equal these letters, even if they're randomly arranged, you'd be able to see stuff like double letters pretty easily. Oh, okay, wait. There are 2 there's 2, not L's, that would be regular. There's 2 D's next to each other. That is probably like 2 O's or 2 L's or something like that. And then you can work from there to figure out like, oh, either this is the replacement, or the first thing I would always try is it a Caesar cipher? Like if I shift this to, either double L's or double O's, does that give me a number that unlocks the whole thing?
Yeah, that was that was basically what we would work on. It was a rip roaring good time.
Before I got obsessed with QAnon, I was obsessed with real codes.
Exactly, which I mean that may help us in the future. I liked the one. There was one. It was like it was like on the battlefield. Like it was like a long piece of paper, and like both sides had like a stick with like grooves and divots in it. And if you wrapped the long piece of paper like with words on it along the stick, it would reveal the code. Yeah. And like they would just measure it out based on like where it landed on that stick. That one I thought was really funny.
Yeah.
Because one, it's like you both have to like make the stick, which is already pretty great, and like 2, have it. 3, like you have to like it's like it was back in like the Civil War days.
It's way stupid. It's
or like Revolution, or even like that. Like you had to like you had to like run it like it's like you had to like get this like piece of paper and then send it to the other person. So at a certain point, it's like, you could just tell me. Like, you
brought someone
like you
here.
Could just tell me.
Well, but the thing is, if they got captured,
you wrote all the way here to give me a piece of paper.
But the thing is, if they got captured, they don't know the message.
I guess you're right.
They're like, I have this piece of paper, and it's like, what does it say? It's like, fuck, I don't know. I don't know how they read it.
Fuck if I know, governor.
Governor, I'm just a limey bloke. My personal favorite is the Bacon cipher.
That's a good one.
Because so the way that it works is there is a alternation. There's basically an A or a B. So you write out a letter, like a regular letter. And the way that it would be done a lot of times would be switching between cursive and print, which is, if you're not looking for it, is not that. If you do it, in a kind of a subtle way, you probably won't notice.
Mm-hmm.
And you switch between it. And so it's like groups of six at a time. So like an A would be cursive and a B would be print. And what I mean is, you just write any old words. You write, Zach Johnson or whatever, right? But the Z is in cursive, and then the A is in print, and then the C is in cursive, and the H is in cursive, and the J is in print, and the O is in print, or whatever. So what then they would do is write that out to this like middle code, basically, of A's and B's. I'm looking at it now.
I done hecked around and found her old Instagram.
Every 6 letters you would write either an A or a B for if it was in cursive or in print. Then you have all these groups of 6, and then there is a sort of a key to that. So it's like A B A A B A that's the letter L, or A that's the letter, G. And so once you have all these combinations, you translate them through the Bacon cipher into the actual message. And what I think is the coolest about it is that Sir Francis Bacon would do this on like a printing press or whatever, and they would give different, like, basically 2 different fonts or 2 different styles of letter. Well, once the letter was rewritten or resent, like if they wrote it again or printed it again, the message was lost because it was all just in the font or the script of the letter itself. So even if you reprinted the letter, or I think it was even snuck into some books.
Mm-hmm.
And once you reprinted it, if the printer didn't know, like, well, no, you have to switch up the characters to be these certain fonts at these certain letters. If the printer doesn't know, the message is gone forever. It's like disappearing ink. So I really liked that one a lot.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. I was that's I was looking at the Instagram one that you had sent me, and that one was the one that you did like bold certain letters, and it's one of the, when you're looking at these now, I mean, obviously that's kind of the way that codes work. When you're looking at these now, it's like so obvious, but I was like such a dummy.
Well,
what was the one where you sent me the video?
Okay, so that one was a little more complicated.
Yeah, that one was massively complicated. I remember that because I didn't have a chance in hell to solve it, and then you had had to basically tell me like you just had to tell me like basically how you did the whole thing, and I was like, wow, I'm more impressed than I am like there's no chance.
I don't remember. There's 2 parts to it, and I don't remember what the second or what the first part is. But basically, it's symbols that are flashing on screen. But I don't remember what language I used. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. It was just a clue to the solving process. So I think maybe it was Pigpen.
Right. Yeah. No, you did a thing where I had to open up audio software to find it.
So
oh my gosh. Yeah, I remember this one. It
said what are those things called? I think it's not an audio. I don't remember it. Whatever the thing is called.
Undistorter. I don't know. Yeah.
No. So anyway, it's Pigpen, and it would spell out this thing that I will look up here shortly after I explain it. This thing was the word to describe a picture hidden in sound, because what it was in the audio, if you listen to it, is this incredibly weird, distorted noise going on in the background. And I filmed a bunch of creepy imagery to kind of
Mhm.
hide it. So it's like, oh, these are just scary sounds to go in the video. And it's like, no,
Mhm.
actually, what you would do is you would take the audio and you would put it into an audio software like Audition. And there's a certain waveform. Oh, what are those called? Anyway, there's a certain way to look at the waveform that gives you kind of what looks like a heat map of the different frequencies.
Mhm.
And baked into those frequencies, the reason it sounded so distorted and weird is because the frequencies were in the shape of a word. So you could like reverse engineer
Right.
it where
Yeah.
you would take a picture, or you would take, text, you would take a picture and then you would convert it into this sort of audio spectrum. And because it's all these weird tones, basically like the darker the color, the louder it was. This is okay. So now we're running into the main problem and why we stopped making Solve It, despite the fact that it's incredibly hard to explain this stuff over audio.
Yeah,
which is why we
yeah.
stopped doing it, because like you have to look.
Yeah,
at
we
these.
needed to get our bag and
make a Discovery Channel show. That's
get the
medium
Discovery
that we
Channel
needed.
show. That was like, that really was the idea. And my whole Discovery Channel show was you'd be talking about those, and it would basically just be like me doing a thing where it's like, hey, everybody, like now here we are in Russia where this thing allegedly happened.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a good idea for us not to. Maybe we can talk about this when we're at the studio back in America and not talk about it while we're here.
Yeah, and then you would get some call from me, and I would send you on some treasure hunt.
Yeah. That is like some total, like if we were vloggers, but like total already rich boys, like that we could just fly out to these places.
Yeah. Oh, it's a spectrogram. I think that's it. I recognize that word. Okay, spectrogram. Yes. Okay, so a spectrogram is a visual representation of the spectrum of frequencies of a signal. So, listeners, if you Google spectrogram, probably what will come up in the images is this kind of blue and yellow and pink and purple, like sort of frequency map. And it's going to look really just like nothing. It's going to look like nothing because audio, it should look like nothing. But what you can do is, you can bake an image and turn it into an audio frequency. In a way that in the spectrogram, those darker areas fill in the darker areas of the image. So if you wrote words in black text, the black text would all be purple in this spectrogram, and then the white parts would be probably yellow. And so it makes this crazy noise that doesn't sound like anything. But you throw it into the software and it gives you the answer. And I don't remember what the answer was. We weren't hiding treasure from each other. So who knows?
Yeah, we should have been. That would have been.
Well,
that's
step
like,
one, have any money.
No, that's definitely like a Mr. Beast sort of thing where like we do hide tens of thousands of dollars from each other.
Right.
And that would definitely put the motivation to solve whatever that thing was, even though I never ever would have had a chance.
I was gonna say I don't know if you solved any of them, and I think I solved all of them.
You certainly did.
I just sort of pressured you into doing a show.
Exactly.
So
well, and like
and
some of them, like the ones where I like did one where I tied a bunch of knots together. I really thought that was the one, but it certainly was not. And I think if there was ever, I can't think of any of them, but if there was ever a situation where you didn't solve one, is because I did it wrong.
Oh, well, there was one where it was based on, you sent me an audio clip, and I figured it out. See, here's the thing, I can't bullshit because people can just go listen to the show. But I believe I figured it out where I knew like, oh, the notes that he is playing.
Yes. I remember. Yeah.
Letters, obviously, and then that spells out a phrase.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know from listening to it what the notes were. So I was like, well, I know what the code is, but like I can't solve it because I don't have perfect pitch. I guess I probably could have used an app.
Yeah.
But
that one was definitely. Yeah, I roped in my roommate for that one. I wrote out like a code using like
Grammy
notes.
award winning.
Latin Grammy Award nominated.
Whatever.
Dove Award winning. But I'd written that out for him, and he was a really good sport, and played this like fully terrible, like off-key nonsense thing.
Right.
And I don't even know if I'd base that really on anything as much as it was like, what if someone had written, I think I'd just seen this movie. There's like an Elijah Wood movie where like someone has to play a piano, and then if they play the exact right notes in the piano for like in this one specific, like it was like if you play like this piano symphony or whatever.
Yeah.
If you play the whole thing, the piano opens up, and then there's like a bunch of gold in it or whatever. It's a stupid movie.
Smaug is in there, and then they have 2.5.
It's basically like the movie Phone Book, where
don't know that one.
It was like Elijah Wood was talking to a guy who was like, I've got a sniper and I'm gonna fucking blow your brains out.
That's crazy, because when you said Phone Book, I was thinking of this movie about
Phone Booth.
Phone Booth. I was thinking about Phone Booth. Where it's the last phone booth in New York, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna blow you. I'm gonna shoot you if you leave the phone booth."
Yeah,
crazy movie.
It was basically like there was a bunch of movies like there was like back in like 2005, 2006. Like that's when thrillers were really having their moment, and like everybody was doing a thriller. Robin Williams was in a thriller called The Final Cut. And it's this movie where like everybody has a chip in their brain where it records everything they do. And
so
like,
they all got vaccinated.
Exactly. Hell yeah, brother. Stop the steal. But they have this chip in their head that records everything they do. And at the end of your life, someone takes out the chip and they make like a little movie, a little movie of your life.
What if there was a chip in your brain that recorded everything?
So, like, now that I think about it, it's so funny.
That actually is the premise of a Black Mirror episode.
No, it's like, it's so funny because they have this little chip in your brain, and it's like, basically, like, you go to someone's funeral and you watch, like, it must have been like 10 to 15 minutes.
What if your whole life was content?
You get your whole ass life recorded, and there are these people called cutters, and they cut together the movie that is your life. Yeah. And it's just like you're basically just like making shitty student projects, like with just moments from their life. And they had some technology where like you didn't get them sleeping or at work or whatever. And it's just like, dude, to sift through all of that and be like, oh, here's this one time you picked up a fucking flower.
Yeah, because think about that. Like even in Fast Forward, that would take, it's a lifetime of footage.
Exactly.
Wouldn't it take you a lifetime to watch it all?
Yeah, well, yeah, but it was like one of those things where like the computer software like helped like edit down a bunch of it. But like how...
But it erased your mum.
Yeah, it was the stupidest thing because like it was like, oh, would you live your life differently if someone could see all the stuff you're doing? And it was like dumb. But
I don't know. Are they gonna cut out the part where I have diarrhea? Because otherwise, probably not. I'd probably just
no, there was like a moment where like he like cut together something for like some big wig guy, and he was like having an affair on his wife, and like the person he was having an affair with was at his funeral, and then it like, and so like. He saw her, and then it like cut to him like watching him have sex with her, and he was kind of like did like a I know what you did, so but like it was like stupid. But yeah, it's like basically the person dies and you get the chip out of their brain, and then you have to like make a little movie about their life before the funeral arrangements are done. So I don't know, a week.
Why do you have to make a movie about their life?
Because it's like it's something to show at the funeral, and
so. Presumably the family is paying for the service, and the cutters were like, we should add that part about the affair. Or is this like a cutter gone rogue? No,
this is a moment where like somebody dies, and then the cutter sees something that he shouldn't see, like it's like the mob secrets or something, which is like no duh, like this is gonna happen at some point. Like you think,
it's a stupid premise.
Like,
it's no.
You think that like we have this person's entire life filmed and it's just gonna be made a little movie of it? No chance. Like it is going to be it's gonna be sold to the highest dollar to advertisers who are gonna like do the exact same thing to like whatever.
Well, first
how
it's going to
they're-
be sold to our friends in Virginia. Shout out to our Virginia fans.
Yeah, shout out to Virginia fans. It's going to be like sold to them, and they're going to, like track your family down with like stupid ads of like things that they like to like, really pull on the emotional chords.
You just bought a casket. Would you like to buy another casket?
No, but it would be like, it's like, like your husband loved having an affair on you. Like,
Do you want to pay for a hooker because he loved having an affair?
Yeah. I don't know if you are aware, but there are sexy singles in your area, and your husband was actually super into that.
So maybe you could honor his
but-
memory. I don't know.
Yeah. So anyway, Robin Williams sees something he shouldn't see, and then he has to go like on the run from all these people that are trying to get at him, which is very similar to that Mel Gibson movie I told you about, where there was a guy who believed in a bunch of conspiracy theories, and then he found out that all conspiracy theories are true.
The phone booth, yeah.
Yeah, whatever that one was called. I think that one's literally called Conspiracy. And I think there's one called Paycheck. There's a lot of there was.
Well, then there's The Game.
Yeah, there's The Game. You're right.
Which is also a thriller movie from the night.
No, I think I'm thinking like I see these in like very specific looking like all the posters look the same, where it's like the person's face and they're making like a face, and there's like blue light over them, and like in the distance there's someone running.
Well, have you seen The Game?
No, I have not seen The Game. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's a very similar premise. I don't want to spoil it because there's spoilers in the movie, but
of course it's a thriller, like
it's a thriller. Like, I'll tell you what, there's some twists and turns.
I'll tell you, I looked up The Game, and then I remembered that The Game is a rapper.
The Game is also that weird book about being a pickup artist.
Yes, it is. Oh wow, this poster for The Game is exactly what I was describing.
That's why I brought it up.
Oh wow, it has Sean Penn and Michael Douglas in it. This has got some freaking names in it, dog.
It's a good movie.
David Fincher.
Yep. You should watch The Game.
This has got some absolute names.
Hey,
listen, I
Tom
would,
and
but I
Jerry?
have to watch Kong. I have to watch Kong versus Godzilla. That's
Am I
like
gonna watch Kong vs. Godzilla? Is that what I'm gonna do?
I don't know, man. I mean, probably like, listen, you
I'm
want to
not
see
doing it for the show, but I might just watch it because I hear it's fun.
I mean, of course it's like, I think that's the problem with like, I don't know if you saw Godzilla King versus whatever of monsters. But it was super boring, which I think is the cardinal sin of a monster movie, which is like, how do you make that boring? How did you make a kaiju movie where it's like, this is a very meandering plot, and it's just like, hey, I know you think that I like care about the drama that's unfolding between this family. I could give a shit. I really could.
So Sophie and I had a little staycation last weekend.
Fun.
And when we
we saw each other. We had a very brief workers retreat.
Yeah. Well, we had a staycation in Louisville because we were just like, we always go up there to see our friends and family. What if we just went up there to like see how it is just as adults? Because like I have never lived there as like a real adult.
Mm-hmm.
And she she didn't live in Louisville either. And she hasn't been back to Louisville as an adult either. So whatever, we stayed at a hotel. All that to say, we had cable, and so we were flipping through cable, and I found the Power Rangers Turbo movie.
Hell yeah. The one where they go through the Bermuda Triangle.
I don't know. We only caught the end of it. Is that what happens?
They go through the Bermuda Triangle at one point, and it is hilarious.
Okay, it might be. It's the one where they have cars.
It was the thing that started my lifelong just general fear and suspicion of the Bermuda Triangle.
That's well based. That's probably a good fit. Anyway, that being said, I was so I saw that it was on and was like, oh, that's funny. I forgot about Power Rangers. And there's a scene where Kelly, the Pink Ranger from the original series, and also Tommy, the Red Ranger from the original series, are both there, but they're brainwashed. And then the Green Ranger from the original series, maybe his name was Tommy, I don't know, he's the new Red Ranger. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's what happened when the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the original series, ended. They started series 2, Turbo, where they have cars instead of dinosaurs. And Tommy, from the original becomes the new Red Ranger. All that to say, this comes flooding back to me as I'm seeing this, and I, for a brief moment, thought, because they're still making this television show. Like, they're still making Power Rangers, and it's like, man, what if I watched every episode of the Power Rangers just to even see what they're doing? Like, how are they still making this show where it's just like teens, and then they fight some putties, and then they fight a little kaiju, and then he becomes a big kaiju, and then there's Zords, and then they punch him. Then I remembered I'm a 28-year-old man, and I'm not going to watch every season of Power Rangers.
Yeah, I was wondering. I was like, this sounds like a very interesting experience.
No, it does sound interesting. It's just something that, Billiam or whatever on YouTube will do, and I'll just sort of watch his recap video. No, I'm not going to do that. I've told you my project for the summer is get back to normal.
Yeah, and I feel like that is directly impeding you.
No, I'm going to a junkyard tomorrow to get some parts to fix my car up, which I think is a normal way to spend your time, as opposed to watch every season of Power Rangers. So, quarantine, I let myself go a little bit where I said, you know what? Just read everything you want about QAnon. Just get as weird as you want and play a bunch of video games.
Now that spring is happening, it's as good a time as any to kind of get away from the weird.
Yeah, you know what? You turn off the console, you pop on some country music, and you maybe go clean your car out. I think that
hell yeah,
that is my vibe.
Summer Sam is back.
Sam is back.
He's back, baby.
My project for the summer is to get back to normal and stop talking. I was explaining to my friend the other night what adrenochrome was. They asked, but I was like, well, okay, let me tell you. Here's the part that's real, and here's the QAnon part. And I would really like to cut that down. It's just really get back to being a normal person who has normal interests and doesn't know anything about adrenochrome. So I've started re-listening.
It's just something about a truck.
I've started I was re-listening to the Ancient Rome podcast, but then I decided to start a different Ancient Greek podcast. I'm reading a book about The Wire. I'm just really trying to get back to my roots as a normal person. And not talking about QAnon or the CIA.
This is like a behind the music sort of thing where it's like, and then Sam got back to his roots.
Well, you know what? Again, I just sort of gave myself a pass for the last year of like, dude,
I think
just trying to get by.
That's to everyone in the audience, I truly do believe that it is a good idea to give yourself probably a pass and a lot of grace to all of your friends and a lot of grace to yourself as you are kind of moving through what it's going to look like, getting yourself back into, social situations, and like offer yourself a lot of forgiveness when like, if you're feeling drained in social situations a lot sooner, or you're not having the same connections with people you did before. And there's going to be a lot of growing, a lot of like reintroducing yourself back. And, that is totally okay. And, there's like Sam, probably some, oddities and interests that you picked up over the course of time that may be good to let go as you are.
Yeah, I'm sort of saying the opposite. I'm saying no more grace. Quit being fucking weird. That's my whole point. Is we had a whole year of being fucking weird, and now that year is over. Everybody get back to normal. It's not. I mean, my point was I need to get back to normal, but you guys, now that we're here, Aaron Carter and whatever, you quit being fucking weird. All right, get back to normal. The quarantine is over. We all need to just get your shit together and be normal people again and stop talking about the CIA, Sam.
Yeah, and just have a lot of grace for yourself. Have a lot of grace, really, really feel like, you can explore this space with like, not feeling like you need to like, move too fast or, but,
nope. Hyperspeed. Go as fast as you can.
Hyperspeed back to normal. I am popping in my 1991 Honda Civic all the way back to Normal Town. I am not going to be talking about weird shit anymore.
Last weekend, I fixed my grill. Next weekend, I'm going to fix my rims. I am on a path back to being a change my oil. I'm just becoming a normal dude with normal interests that aren't QAnon.
Yeah, I think that I'm just going to I'll work on giving myself grace, maybe back into social spheres. That'll be my get
You didn't
better
get
for
that
it.
weird.
No, I didn't get weird, but I feel like, my propensity for like wanting to be around people is like definitely way lower.
Oh,
like,
yeah, that's fair.
when I do find myself in like, I've been going to like, just like having like small like dinner parties or whatever, like it's about like 2 hours in and I'm just like, I would rather be anywhere else.
Yeah.
Specifically by myself listening to like my podcast or like whatever I was doing because like I got very comfortable like being with myself this entire time. So I think like I'm going to try to stretch my social muscles and just be a bit more welcoming because I feel like I've gotten a little colder to people this past season.
Fair. Well, honestly, and I don't the cardinal sin of podcasting, which is being genuine. I think this show has held me together from actually losing my goddamn mind. Because while I've been in my house for a year, you are an outside person who I can just talk to once a week about random bullshit and not actually be alone in my house for 12 months.
Yeah, or like going to people at Publix and assaulting them with your random bullshit. So.
Yeah, they don't want to hear about. They don't want to, because then I'm that guy and I'm telling them about adrenochrome, a thing I don't believe in. I mean, it physically
but
exists.
I need you to know about it.
Yeah, it's not even that I think that Hillary Clinton is drinking adrenochrome. I just need you to know that there is becoming a significant part of the voting population that thinks
that's true.
Hillary Clinton is.
It's funny, HBO Max just released like a little documentary about QAnon, and I watched a bit of it, and I was just like, this is for non-internet people. Like, this is for people. This is QAnon 101, and it's like, baby, I'm in the forums. I know, like,
right. Well, considering the guys on there, the QAnon Anonymous guys are guys who I've listened to every episode of their podcast, I was like, I feel like I actually am pretty caught up, and I don't need like
this is a crash course.
Yeah, it really is.
This is for people who heard QAnon on like CNN and they were like, what the? Yeah.
So.
Well, anyway, that's our show. Thank you all so much for coming to Get Better. If you want to find more of our stuff, you can find us on Instagram at Get Better Podcast. That's at get_better_podcast. You can also reach us at meetthefockers2fockedup@gmail.com. That is meetthefockers2fockedup@gmail.com. You can also find more of our stuff on YouTube. You can find like big ol' episodes in case like that's the way you want to listen to it. But yeah, whatever you're listening to it here, we really appreciate it. So if you're listening to it on Spotify, just go ahead and keep listening to it on Spotify. That's a good way to get our viewership up. But if you're listening to us on iTunes, please leave us a rate and review. That would be super duper helpful. And I rolled through that really fast, but I think that's it.
Well, usually I interrupt with some bullshit.
Oh yeah, that's right.
All right.
See you, bye forever.